Hi, morning all. My name is Sally, and it's the first video that I'm posting and recording to explain a little bit about myself and my syndrome. Myself, well, I'm a human anyway, but I've got something that's called CREST. It's an autoimmune disease, which is rare, and despite the word disease, which sounds a little bit harsh, it looks like I'm absolutely fine. I walk around, nobody knows what I have. It's more like a chronic hidden sort of autoimmune. An autoimmune, which means that my body is attacking itself, thinking that I've got forms of infection inside, and they start attacking each other, thinking that they want to kick out the infection that's in there. But what it's actually doing is that it's attacking itself and making things like my heart, my lungs, tightness of the skin, basically shut down slowly or quickly, depending on which way it decides to take, which I have no control over. This does mean that I have good days and I have bad days, and I've had this, well, I've been diagnosed with it for about 18 years. Wasn't a problem, didn't think of it much, and I was still living, working, going out, doing what I need to do. To a certain extent, I still do that. But unfortunately more of a progression since about 2014, when I started getting a lot of acid reflux. But before I get to that stage, I'll rewind a little bit more and say what symptoms I had for me to actually get diagnosed with that. Back in 2000, we moved, we as in me and my parents, my family, moved into and bought a flat in central London. We moved in and it needed some work to be done too. And when we moved in, we had the builders in. I thought I had allergies to dust. And during the first week, I was sneezing. My eyes were really itchy. I ended up thinking I developed conjunctivitis. Not that I ever know how to pronounce that. It's where your eyes are gungy and sticky and watery, and has all these things coming out of the corner of the eyes. And it got to the stage where it was itchy, my skin, I was just breaking out and just scratching. And I thought, oh, it's an allergy. Take some antihistamines, and I'll be sorted. Things that I can buy off the counter, basically. Did that, didn't get any better. And one night, it got so bad that my eyes, I couldn't open it. 2 golf balls. And the gunge that was coming out was pretty much like white glue from what you have from school. And I just couldn't open my eyes, and I was crying, and I went straight to sort of A&E, and by the morning, my hands and the itchiness and the redness turned into little blisters, and I thought I've either got chicken pox, the bumps, any of that kind of stuff, because it was little white sort of watery blisters. And I thought, hang on a minute, I've had those when I was a kid. Why is this coming up again? I got referred to see a skin specialist who happened to be a rheumatologist covering, and his specialties were in skincare, etc. I was given obviously sort of eye drops and high antibiotics and stuff, things to clear the infection. And he did some blood tests and said, you do know they are antibodies, and he started throwing some really hard sort of terminology at me, and I'm like, can you slow down? I don't understand what you're talking about. What do you mean my antibodies and my red blood cells attacking the white blood cells? And that's when it all started, and he explained to me at that time what was a very, very mild form of lupus. And pretty much means that my body's attacking itself from infections where it thinks of. For example, when somebody gets a cold, your body starts, defending those external bodies. What my body was doing is literally doing it and creating infections and trying to attack that. So when a real infection comes from the outside, it's confused and doesn't know what to do, and it doesn't really attack it because it's attacking my own body. He said it shouldn't be a problem, started me on a simple dose, and he said that the worries would be that it could start affecting the kidneys, the liver, basically the basic functions and the organs in my body, my breathing, my lungs, my heart. But he says it looks like it's very rare and there hasn't been much flare-up, and I was seeing him once a year. Going back to 2014, 2011, that's when I started getting a lot of acid reflux. I was mentioning it to the doctor, the consultant at the hospital, And it just got from really bad. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't sit up, and I was vomiting a lot. My weight started changing, and oh, sorry, let me introduce you to somebody who's just walked into the room, and you'll probably be seeing him a lot. This is Anthony, aka Kareem, and he's also my husband, and has been one of the most influential and biggest support ever during my times of low and sort of getting upset with my whole thing. And you'll probably be seeing him pop up quite a lot. Anyway, so back to sort of me. I've lost track. No, it's all right. Yeah, I was mentioning the fact that the acid reflux was giving me a lot of problems to sort of breathe, vomiting a lot of acid. And I was getting severe pains here because I was regurgitating a lot of acid, vomiting everything that I was keeping down. And they started doing more tests, and it was getting worse over the years. And at the end, I got referred to a gastroenterologist, who referred me to a surgeon and said, no, it is so damaged up in this section. And because of the current vomiting, you've now got a hernia that's stuck up into this, and hence why you're all sounding like a horse. Basically, it affected my throat, my swallowing, something called dysphagia, which is the food pipe that goes down. It just messed everything from in there. To be honest, my voice was a lot worse than this. This is actually it coming back. I sounded like a proper horse. Very hard to people to understand me. And I was told that I had to do an operation. And I thought when they explained it to me that it was gastric bypass, which a lot of people do to sort of lose weight. What they had told me was, I'm not exactly the most terminological, I don't use the terminology right, but something along with fundalupian. Yeah, don't take my word completely for it, but it's basically routing the big intestine. And avoiding the damaged areas to the small intestine. It sounds like a bypass, but it's not, and it's nothing to do with weight loss, and it shouldn't make me lose weight. And then to remove the hernia. That was basically a little sort of muscle, because of me vomiting up, had literally gone up to my food pipe, up into my chest, and just decided to sit there and not go back down to where it should be. So they had to remove that. So February 2014, that's exactly what I did. And I lost huge amount of weight after it, and sadly my weight loss is still coming down, and it's unexplained, and I'm being seen with regards for further investigations, which I'm still seeing the doctors for, because now I've gone completely underweight. According to my height, I should be around 50 to 55 kilos, and ideally 55 kilos. I'm afraid I don't know that in stones and pounds. I don't do those. But I've gone down to 45, and my lowest is 44, and I can eat. I still eat slowly. There's a lot of foods that I can't sort of retain after my operation, because I don't have the big intestine or things work as they used to in a regular body. So that's where the CREST, it stands for the calcium esophagus. I'm not really good at those. I'll probably have to dig that out back again. But if you look at my website, I've explained all the 5 symptoms of CREST syndrome, because that has eventually I've touched base on all of them. I've got calcium deposits, and again on my website, and on Facebook, I'll probably be putting up little bits and pieces of the calcium deposits and the removals that I've had to take in different procedures. But you'll be seeing all that later on, and I will go into them each element, the C, the R, the E, the S, and the T in greater depth. So don't despair of me not being able to mention it. But as I did say, I'm an average person. My whole terminology in medicine world is not the best. So when I go and see the consultants, I do have to ask them to speak in English, basic English, something that I could understand and probably everybody else. So I can explain to you what I have, but when they throw medical terms, I'm not the best at it. And the chances are I always end up taking either my brother or my husband, because they're quite good at retaining, and then if I forget what they've said, they tend to remind me of it. I'm not going to keep this long. It's already going to almost 10 minutes, but I'm going to keep it simple. I'm off to see the doctor very shortly, but I thought I'd introduce myself, and I thought it would be a lot shorter than this, but it's not. I'm going for a checkup. My leg has cramped up quite a bit. I don't know if I pulled a muscle or if I've torn a ligament, because I also get affected with fracture line sort of breakage, part of the whole beauty of it all. I'm always lethargic more. I've been given time off from work, even though I do caring at the moment. I can't do sort of office works. My hands and the Reynolds go completely white. I'm always wanting a tropical Mediterranean weather where everybody else is probably fuming. I carry a hot water bottle around to keep me warm, to keep my stomach and the cramping down, because it's always flaring up. I've always got a dull ache. I stress too much, which I never used to, and the stress triggers off a lot of anxieties. And another thing that I used to sort of fear going into work, if I haven't done this, I haven't done that. I never used to worry about these little things, but I mean, I used to be able to manage an office and a training centre in a hospital, sort of within the HR, so nothing medical terminology. Yeah, I can't do most of that stuff anymore, and I'm always cold. There's all the offices that do open plans. That seems to be the new phase of offices these days, and I struggle. So a lot of people don't want to take me on for that, but because I'm having investigations for my stomach, which why I'm losing weight for no apparent reason, I've been told by the doctors that I shouldn't. I'm not fit to go back to work. So in my meantime, I do sort of care work where I can. Apart from myself, I mean, if there's anybody that's elderly, my husband, who had, luckily, as much as you saw him walking around, had broken his back. So there's a lot of things like I'd like to help out with him and his family, basically where I can. Anyway, this is enough for me now. You'll see plenty of me later on. And I better go get ready. I should be getting ready to go out, even though it's in a couple of hours, but I do take my time in getting things ready. I ache. I also have a pain, but I love to smile. So that's the best thing that I could do, and spread love, basically. There's, touch wood, there's a lot of people, probably a hell of a lot worse out there than I am. So smiling is the least we could do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed a little bit about me, and sorry for ranting on for too much. But I'll try and show you snippets on this channel about me, how I live, what I do, what I get up to, what I can't get up to, etc. Anyway, for now, see you later.